Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame. You know why I'm here. So let me go ahead and jump into the video. So this episode starts off with the Soul Train bus tour. They're in the middle of getting gas, and you know what people do when they get gas. When you're on a trip, you stop, you get gas, you get snacks, you use the bathroom. Cool. So Simone has already come out of the store and is like, look, Kendall, you owe me 75 cents. So she went in there, she got the little things that he wanted, his little snacks. And so she's trying to hand it off to him, and he was like, yeah, hold that, I need to go to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those people where he has to do these kind of jokes when he is discussing certain things. I think he said something about he had to drain the vein or something. I just be looking at people like him like, alrighty. But yeah, Kendall is extra, as we all know. So anyway, he went inside. Other people that are a part of this tour, they're outside practicing their dance moves, or they are inside looking for whatever they want in order to purchase so that they can have something to eat. So he's, like I said, he's trying to go to the bathroom. Tell me why he, going to the back, he sees a sign that says restroom, so that's where he's trying to go. He immediately gets stopped by this obvious racist store owner and is like, where do you think you're going? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to the bathroom. And he was just like, yeah, if you're going to go to the bathroom, you're going to go outside and dig a hole out back. And so Kendall was looking at him like, what's your problem? So then the dude's attention gets diverted to the other people that are in the store. Like, there are several other people all around the store trying to get whatever they want to eat, right? And so he was like, wherever you going to get, you touching all this stuff, if you touch it, you going to buy it. You could tell, like, by the way he's talking that he does not care for black people at all. So I was just like, oh. And, I had to remember when Soul Train came about, because it was still during that time, that racial climate. It's the same as it is now. But I'm just saying, it was, you know what it was. They were going through some random, backwoods town, and I'm trying to figure out, because I'm not from up that way on that side of the United States. I've never been that way. I don't know where they would be going, that they would be going through a backwoods town like that. So I was already confused, even though I know there are little whatever types of towns, but to that degree, given what was said within this scene, I was like, oh, okay. Racists are everywhere, so but I don't know. I was just like, okay, what in the world is going on here? So Kendall, being Kendall, he waited till the guy's attention was diverted elsewhere, and he ended up sneaking and using the bathroom anyway. He thought that he, did this amazing job of doing that. No. Kendall came out of the bathroom sneaking, trying to close the door behind him and all that stuff. The dude is standing at the door with a shotgun, double-barrel shotgun, pointing at him. And everybody's just looking like, oh, okay. He was in there, and everybody else had already been boarding the bus. His sister is looking for him, and the guy, the white guy, I don't know what his name is. Tess is not around, and it was basically confirmed in this episode that she really did quit this time, because she's not there on the tour at all. But anyway, trying to figure out, where everybody is. And Simone is like, I'm not leaving my brother. I'm gonna go see where my brother at. So she goes back into the store, and that's when the store owner turns the gun on her. And it just gets to a point where the bus driver is like, dang, where everybody at? So the white guy ends up telling him, I guess, to honk. So he honked the horn. It got to the point where these whole lot of other racist people came from out of nowhere. I think the guy who got shot, the boy who was leading the riots, and he was into rioting, and he's into the political aspect of the you need to pay us, and I don't know why I can't think of it, y'all. I'm sorry. But that guy, if I'm not mistaken, he was there. He was, talking about the unfair wages and all that stuff. I think he was there and he was trying to hit on this white girl, right? Yeah, that created a whole nother level of issues that you already should know. So that situation popped off. The girl was here for it, but some random white dude, I don't know if it was her brother or whatever, came out there, told the girl to get inside. And so it was a group of random white guys and some guy who looked questionable, like he was Asian or something. I don't know what that was about. I probably saw him too fast. But anyway, they all start gathering around the bus and doing what they've done before, as we've seen in history. They crowded around the bus and they ended up, scaring them. Somebody broke a window, and it got to the point where the store owner was like, okay, what's this ruckus going on out here? I hear my brothers and things, my brothers in racism, setting off on this bus. Let me go see what's going on. So he went out there, and next thing I know, the bus driver and the white guy, I'm sorry, y'all, I don't want to just call him the white guy, but I can't think what his name is. Anyway, he ended up having to tell everybody to duck, and the bus driver hit the gas, and he was kind of ducking over the steering wheel because this man started shooting. Come on now, you shooting a bus load of children. But, of course, who cares? They're black, no matter, the age. No matter, they have done nothing wrong. But, let's just shoot up a bus full of kids. So Simone and Kendall get left. They run like another direction and end up running through like this wooded area. And eventually they end up trying to walk on this random street in some area that is very foreign to them. That was crazy. So at this time, we switch gears. Don Cornelius just sat up here and popped up at the house, the house where his wife and children reside. It's Christmas time, not in Hollis, Queens, but not Hollis, Queens. But it's Christmas time. He done popped up at the house. He got gifts. He comes bearing gifts. And he walk in the house. He called for his wife. And she all happy. And, she's receptive of him being there. She hop up into his, into his groin area with her legs wrapped around him. Of course, he proceeds to, walk her to the bedroom with her wrapped around him. And they have sex. So anyway, he ends up giving her a gift, which ends up being answering machine. And so he proceeds to explain to her how the answering machine is. He was like, if you're out and about and you miss a phone call from me, I'm gonna leave a message, you'll hear my voice and all this other stuff. And I was just like, sir, you don't go somewhere and sit down. Oh Lord. I was just like, sir, let me see. So all this is going on, and so she's excited. So she tells him the good news, or so she thought, that she bought the house. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's thinking she's talking about a house. I'm guessing he's thinking that she's talking about a house that's in California. But no, she's talking about the house there. Yeah. And so he was reading it. And so she was like, there's nothing wrong with this house and all this other stuff. And, they actually own it. And so he was trying to read her about the money. And so he was like, you bought this house with my money? And she was like, I bought this house with our money. And I was like, oh gosh. It was a mess. Okay, and so then we go back to Kendall and Simone. Like I said, they're walking, they're on this road, and then they end up seeing this van that's like stranded on the side of the road. Somebody is changing a tire, and Simone gets the bright idea to roll up. You know what I'm saying? Kendall looking at her like, no, what are you doing? And so she was like, I'm doing what I have to do. And so, they end up going to a whole nother scene before it ends up, going where it's supposed to go as far as that is concerned. So, anyway, back home, JT is in that abandoned building with his sister, and it's going to be a cold day, so he's trying to prep her the best way he can. So he had like this little knitted hat, and he was talking to her like, it's gonna be cold today. And so he put that on her head, and he notices a figure coming towards him. You can tell that it is the, shadow silhouette, of a man. And so I'm trying to figure it out, like, for real, like, who was this? It ends up being Patrick. Patrick is Tessa's man, the police detective. So he ends up, saying to him, like, is that your car? He was like, yeah, man, it's for sale. He was like, well, that's not why I'm here. I've been looking for that car. And yeah, he ends up having another person there with him, and they place him under arrest. So yeah, he's placed under arrest, and I was like, Lord have mercy. So they end up going back to Kendall and Simone, and she approaches the guy. It's a guy. And, Kendall has his reservations because of the situation that just happened. And so he's like, what if he's just like them? And turns out he wasn't. He had actually just gotten robbed himself, and he was changing his tire, and Simone looked aside and saw an instrument case. And so, she kind of felt like she had a better chance of him understanding their plight. So she was like, we're trying to get to Chicago. We missed our bus. She didn't tell the whole situation. She was like, we missed our bus, and, whatever. So he was like, I'm not going that way, but I can, I'm not going there, but I'm going that way so I can take you as far as I can. And so, of course, they were grateful for that. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So Patrick, like I said, he was looking because he was interested in that car because they had been looking for that. And they took him into custody and all that good stuff. Anyway, Don Cornelius is meeting with this guy who he was trying to talk to in the beginning in order to get national syndication. His name is Phil. So he's talking to him. Phil's trying to play nice, and then all of a sudden he decides to hit him with this little lawsuit saying that, we are owed 25% of this company. And Don is like, how dare you? And I was like, oh gosh. So anyway, they end up going back, showing that JT is being questioned. And, it's all, of course, about the shooting and the death about that police officer. Y'all, I'm sorry. The people around here be doing the most, and then they want to ride a wreck out. Like, I am so serious. They do the absolute most, and then they end up wrapped around trees and everything. You can't drive for nothing but love to speed and do the most and be loud. So I'm sorry. When y'all hear stuff like that, just try to ignore them, because I'm trying my best to ignore the stupidity. Anyway, JT is trying to, get out of the situation because he is being questioned about the death of that police officer. And I was just like, Lord, because his car is affiliated with it, that his car was given, the description of his car was given. So, So anyway, they end up showing Simone later on that night being on the payphone, and she was smart enough to call the hotel that they were supposed to be checked into, letting them know that they were okay and that they were trying to get there. So Kendall is actually in this man's van, and he offers like $1 or something. He was like, I'm trying to give you some money on the gas. And so he was like, no, man, I believe in, good, things coming back around or whatever. And so, they're trying to figure out, what are they going to do in order to get money for a bus ticket to get the rest of the way. And so the guy was like, I think his name is Nick. The guy, Nick, was like, well, we could do a gig, but, I don't know if y'all are legit like that. He don't know if they can sing, if they can do anything at all. So they end up doing a little ditty, and they did, I think, Stand By Me. That song? Well, darling, darling, stand by me. I think they did that song, and he was amazed. So he was here for it. So they went to wherever this place was that he was gonna go. I'll tell y'all about that later. It was the most that was happening. So Don and his wife were, I guess, in the bedroom, and he was on the floor. She was braiding his hair. She was talking to him. They were having a good moment. So their son ends up running into the room. Now, before his son ran into the room, you know, she could tell that things were off. She was just talking about how she was going to go shopping with one of her friends the next day. And so she was like, you know, what's going on? What's wrong? So he ends up confiding in her and telling her that Phil is trying to sue him for 25% of Soul Train. And so she do what she always do and encourage him and uplift him, be like, Don, you are Soul Train, and all this other stuff. She do the most for him, but he do the absolute least for her and the kids. So anyway, one of their sons, not Anthony, I think this one, unless it is, they might have said Tony. You know how some people call Anthony Tony and all that stuff. Anyway, the son came in there, and so it was like, what's wrong? And he was like, I hear that scratching again. So apparently he's been hearing scratching, and you know, I don't know what it is. I thought it was some of the things that be going on in the country life, and that ain't what it was. But anyway. And so he was like, oh, it's probably this, you know, just go back to bed. So end up having to make him go back to bed, y'all. I was like, Lord, it's too much. So the place where Simone and Kendall are taken, they're taken to this honky tonk bar. So I was like, oh gosh. It's kind of more of the crowd that they just left from, you know, being harassed and shot at. So the guy Nick is trying to negotiate a deal, and he was able to finally get down to $30 for 1 hour of just singing songs. And so he was like, have I ever, you know, let you down before? Have I ever made you not trust me or something like that before? So dude just looked at him. He was like, all right, whatever, we got a deal. So anyway, oh Lord, y'all. So they end up performing. And the first song they performed was Ain't No Mountain High Enough, I think, if that's the name of the song. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, you know. Ain't no river wide, ain't no valley low. You know that song. But anyway, ain't no mountain high enough. All that good stuff. And at first, they didn't want to get into it. Y'all, the black people came from out the back from cooking to set it off dancing. I was like, oh my God. So the rest of the people got into it eventually. I was just like, I'm gonna need for y'all to get into it because y'all know how it go. Y'all stay trying to steal something that somebody black created, but then you gonna sit up here trying to act like you hating in this moment. You know they was singing. Them children was singing. But anyway, they finally got into it. I was like, yeah, you better have it. So anyway, it get to a point where JT is still being questioned, and Patrick ends up offering him a deal, saying, you know, you do what you need to do. I can offer a deal to you where you, your mama, and your sister are set for life. You don't have to worry about anything. And so he kind of looked up like, oh, okay. I was like, oh Lord. So anyway, got to the point where it looked like he was going to take the deal, but he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't got nothing to say. So then Patrick was like, well, all right, you're under arrest. So at first, you know, they took him in for questioning, and then, you know, they really placed him under arrest this time. And so he's like, no, what are you doing? Why are you trying to put me under arrest? Whatever, y'all. So anyway, they end up going back, showing Kendall, Simone, and the guy Nick, who took them over to that place in order to do the gig. They ended up doing Donny Hathaway's Christmas song that everybody loves, and y'all know what it is, This Christmas. So they did that. The crowd really got into it, and the black people were still setting it off in the back. I was just like, y'all better set it off, go off. And that's what they were doing. And like, it had got so amazing in there. Like, the vibes were so great that people were in there kissing, and it was like love in the air. People really actually got onto the dance floor and were dancing together. It was really, really cool how the environment was. So I was like, oh, that's so cute. So keep in mind, the Soul Train bus tour is still in full effect. So apparently, since a lot of the dancers have fans, I feel like this fool, whoever this is just rolling around in a circle doing the most. I'm pretty sure it's the same person. But anyway, excuse them. I'm sorry. Like I said, the Soul Train bus tour is in full effect, and at this moment, they are having people come through who want autographs. So there are lines. People are in the lines of the people who they want to see. So Flo had a line, and there was this guy who was there, y'all. And so he told her to make it out to Anita. And so she was like, well, you don't look like an Anita. And so he was like, oh, my name is, what he said, Darnell, Daryl, or something like that. And he was like, oh, this is for my girlfriend. My girlfriend loves you and Simone. And Simone wasn't there, of course, because she's trying to, get there. And y'all, tell me why the girlfriend Anita is in a whole nother line. She done rolled up with some random dude and got her little autograph that she wanted. And she done circled the room and she with the dude. And so she was like, oh, hey, I know you ain't think I was about to ride in the back of your bicycle up here or something like that. I was like, girl, apparently he rode up there on a bicycle in order to do that for her. Like, that's how much he actually loved and cared about her, that he was willing to do what he had to do because he knew how much she loves them. So I was like, how dare you? Like, she really was clowning him in front of everybody, and dude was like really upset. Like, girl clowned him and then like turned on and went on by her business. I was just like, girl, you tried it. Like, and she had no remorse. She was just like, I said what I said, and went on by her business. I was like, girl, you are trifling. So anyway, the dude, you could tell the dude was upset, y'all. So I was like, Lord, don't nobody have time for this. So they end up going back to the gig where Simone and Kendall are, and they have performed. Everything was going well. You could tell everybody had they'd won the crowd over. Talking to, he ended up leaning over and asking her, how old are you really? So she covered up the mic and she said 17. And so the dude was saying that she's gonna be a star, she's amazing, and all this other stuff, y'all. So anyway, they end up, for JT, they end up bringing his daddy into the room. Apparently his daddy has been locked up. So he brought his daddy in there to kind of, talk some sense into him to get him to talk. Get to the point where his daddy was like, keep your mouth shut, be silent, do whatever you decide to do what you do. But whatever you do, don't end up in here, because this is a terrible place and prison brings out the worst in people. And so, of course, JT read him. He read him and was talking about, how you gonna try to tell me what to do and you're in here. And he was saying something about, you haven't been around. And because he was like, how your mama doing? And all that other stuff. And I just be like, oh my gosh, why don't you stop? I mean, I hate when people try to come up and regulate when you ain't been. Who are you? You ain't been around. Who are you? I'm sorry, who are you? And so, y'all, I was tired of my spirit. I was like, sir, if you don't get somewhere and sit down. So anyway, Dawn is at this party. This is like long after the autographs have happened. And you see all the Soul Train set up. Everybody's in there. People are dancing, having a good time, having drinks and all this other stuff. So Don brings his wife and Phil is invited. So he's talking to him, and then Dolores, his wife, steals him away, and they have moments to themselves. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Y'all, meanwhile, in the bathroom, old dude who got, slighted earlier by his girlfriend, he in the bathroom sitting on the stall looking crazy. And then he reaches in this satchel and he has a gun. And I was like, oh no, what you finna do? Shoot the club up? What you finna do, sir? So I was like, oh no. Like, he was looking real crazy. So anyway, y'all, it is apparent that Flo is mad. Like, she been mad like all day. Everybody tied in their spears. So even the white dude was like, excuse me. He done pulled up a chair. I forgot to tell y'all at the beginning when they were at the store, she is of age apparently, and so she bought a beer. And so when she tried to get on the bus with that beer, like that's literally all she bought. She bought a can of beer and tried to get on the bus, and she know the rules. So old dude took the can of beer and drunk it in front of her, and so she looked at him like, "How dare you?" And he looked at her like, "How dare you? This is my compensation for having to deal with y'all." So she politely got on that bus, and he reminded her about the rules. You drink and all this other stuff, then you ain't gonna, you don't get to perform or whatever, y'all. So anyway, he's trying to figure out what her problem is. And, it was just to the point where she was just like, and so he wasn't getting nowhere with her, so he got up and walked off. So Dawn was about to make an announcement, and he walked by. Dawn was like, "You need to get Tessa back." Like it's bad. She has a way of getting through to them the girls and the guys, the dancers. So he was like, "You need to get Tessa back." And I was like, Lord have mercy. So I think they're called the 5 Stair Steps performed. I don't know if y'all know this song. What is it called? Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will be brighter. That's the song they did, and I was here for it. I ain't heard this song in a while, so I was like, yes. So anyway, dude is in the back. He off in the cut, looking sketchy. He's still looking like he about to shoot it up, do something he ain't got no bid. So I was just like, somebody please do something. So then they show Simone and her brother dancing, just dancing. And then in the middle of them, in his peripheral, you see her, the girlfriend, and the guy who brought her dancing together. So he looking and looking and looking, and he tired of his spirit, and he looking. And then he roll up a little bit, and then he got his hand in his bag, and he just about to pull the gun out. And then here comes Flo. Hey, Darnell, or whatever his name was, y'all. They interrupted everything, and I was just like, oh my gosh. He really was about to shoot it up. I was like, sir. And so she was like, you want to dance and all this other stuff. And I was like, Lord have mercy. I was tired of my spirit. So anyway, that happened. Crisis averted. The dude, I guess he had a change of heart after she put on a brave front for him. Was like, I had a really good time. You're a really good dancer. And then, he went on by his business, and he threw his little satchel with the gun in it in the trash. I was like, oh, okay. You don't got to go to jail today. That's good. Good job, sir. So then it gets to the point where every time Flo saw him before they got separated because of the shooting, she had an attitude. So anyway, she tried to walk off from him and kind of like roll her eyes. And so he yoked up real quick, like, no, what you gonna do is talk to me. And so I'm thinking she gonna still be shady and not talk to him. She finally explains, yes, I'm mad. I am mad. And she was mad and because she was upset and didn't know what was going on with him. So, that further upset her more, and that helped her to express some deeper issues that were going on with her. Apparently, her brother was shot and killed and died in her arms when she was in Texas from somebody just shooting or whatever. And so she was so worried about him. She didn't know how everything went. And then when she was on that bus and they had to duck, she had like flashbacks. So she was not in a good place. So yeah, she was in her feelings all day with good reason. So, he ended up, she ended up saying, I really do like you and all this other stuff. So I guess they're in a relationship for real now. And I was just like, I don't know if I like this. Like I said before. So yeah, she, confessed that she do like him. And, he already confessed episodes ago that she like him, that he likes her. So I was like, whatever. So anyway, Don Cornelius and his wife get home from the event. And they are up, the son and one of her friends who was babysitting him. And so, it's kind of late. And so she was like, I tried to get him down, but he wouldn't. And he is up because he heard the scratching and all that again. So it gets to the point, y'all know how much of a bad temper Don Cornelius had. Don to set it off, he just snatched the boy up and then took him downstairs into the basement. And there was a possum. So he was like, you need to be a man, and handed him a gun and told him to shoot the possum. He stood there and didn't shoot the possum, and it got to the point where he told him, he took the gun back and told him to go upstairs. So once he went all the way upstairs, he just shot the possum. I was like, sir, you're doing the most. So they are showing JT in this room, you know, being held. He's chained to this table, and they are trying to get him to go down for all of this. So it gets to the point where somebody over him was like, look, this case is closed. We are going to assume that everybody who was involved in this shooting has died, was killed. Everything is just gone. There's nothing that we can do with this case. It's just over. And so he actually told him that he, you know, put him up for promotion or whatever. You know, he was like, well, I didn't submit anything. And so, you know, he was like, I'm recommending you to get lieutenant. And so, you know, he's all happy about that. So he ends up releasing JT, and while he released him and was taking him out of the room, he did what a lot of cops do, which I don't like at times, trying to be like, thank you for your cooperation, and gonna shake his hand. And the dude, Reginald, that's the dude who, I couldn't think of his name before, the dude who always acting like he the young Malcolm X or somebody. He ends up going to be the next person going into that room. So he looking at him sideways like, did you snitch or no? Like, what's going on here? And I was like, Lord, this is too much. This is how people get killed. Like, people, and I'm like, sometimes I wonder if people care, certain law enforcement, when they do stuff like this. When all these people are released back into society, everybody killing one another because they think that the other person snitched on them, even if that's not even the case. So it's like, come on now, y'all doing the most. So anyway, Don met up with Phil, and, you know, Phil's last name is Stewart. He met up with him, and, you know, Don actually met the man at his office. He was like, oh, I'm so glad to see you. So Don Cornelius tried to make it seem like he, you know, was agreeing to his terms. He's about to give him his share. So what he did was, he had a piece of paper that he had folded up. So before he could unfold the paper, he had a phone call on like line 3. So he picked up the phone, and little does he know, all kinds of sponsors then dropped out from Soul Train. So he's just looking like, so, and then like the woman, when his receptionist comes in and is like, you got this person on this line, you got this, I'm talking about big sponsors. These people are tired. And so it got to the point where Don Cornelius was like, look, either you're going to just support, you're going to support the Chicago show, or we just both going to sit up here and watch it go down in flames. Because I'm not giving you my dream. I'm not giving up no part of my company. I was like, Lord have mercy. It was bad, y'all. So anyway, Don Cornelius's wife is at work. Her boss calls her into his little area, his little office or whatever, and he proceeds to give her the magazine that he had just done that interview in. And he was like, yeah, you might need to, you know, turn to page 8. She turns to page 8, and there's a picture of him and Miss Desarnay, or whatever I told y'all her name. Well, her name, Ezel or something like that, y'all. And I was just like, you're doing the most. It's a picture of them together looking very comfortable. And so he was like, you know, you might want to, you know, take the rest of the day off and go home. And so she was like, oh, no, I don't have that much longer on my shift. So she kind of trying to play it off. And then she walk off with the magazine in her hand, right? Y'all, she finally get off work and go home. Don Cornelius is packing to leave. And so she was like, you know, before he can hardly say, baby, can you hand me this, that, and the other, she was like, what is going on here? Who is Ezel Desarnay, or whatever her name is? And so he was like, what are you talking about? Trying to play it off. And so she read him and basically read herself and was like, it's bad enough. I already know you cheat. You always have cheated on me. I can get past that. I have gotten past that before. But what I can't get past is that you're doing all this in the public eye for the world to see. The whole nation is seeing this. You ain't gonna keep embarrassing me. And I'm like, but you continue to let him embarrass you day in and day out anyway. So don't sit up here and like you ain't been getting embarrassed. He stay embarrassing you. So she done set it all the way off. I mean, he just ended up just throwing the rest of his stuff in his bag, trying to go downstairs. I ain't got time for this right now. We can talk about this later. It's not what you think. And so he about to go out the door. She said, you either gonna choose us or Soul Train. If you walk out that door, you will choose the Soul Train over us. So he stood there for a second. And he went on out the door. He was like, I was talking to you about this later. And she was like, Dawn. I was like, oh my gosh. And so, of course, and I mean, as soon as he was doing, I was like, watch, he walk out the door. Watch. And then he left. I said, of course, he chose that over you and the kids, as usual. So anyway, the Chicago gig is over. Everybody going wherever they going next and all that good stuff, you know, so that was the end of that episode, y'all. The most be happening on this show. So I'm still enjoying it. Y'all let me know down in the comment section if y'all are enjoying it. If you like it, go on ahead and hit that like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button, all that good stuff. You can subscribe if you want to. You can do whatever you want to do. It don't matter. I just, you know, am appreciative that you took the time out of your day to click on my video and see what was going on. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.